The Xfinity 500 at Martinsville was one of the most controversial races of the season, with two drivers already confirmed for the Championship 4. It was all to play for William Byron in the HMS and Christopher Bell in the JGR. The drama continued on after the checkered flag as well, and now NASCAR has given brutal penalties to multiple teams for their part in playing a role in the Championship 4. The semifinal race at Martinsville has stirred up major controversy, with NASCAR levying fines against 2311 Racing, Trackhouse Racing, and Richard Childress Racing for alleged race manipulation. In a dramatic showdown for the Championship 4, Toyota's Christopher Bell came agonizingly close to securing the final playoff spot on points, only to be held back by a chain of calculated moves that appeared to favor William Byron and Hendrick Motorsports. The fallout has left fans and teams alike questioning the integrity of NASCAR's playoff system and has put these teams under intense scrutiny. Christopher Bell was just one strategic overtake away from advancing to the Championship 4. Racing in his Toyota, he was trailing Bubba Wallace, who drives for 2311 Racing, a team with close ties to Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota. However, in the closing moments of the race, Wallace was overtaken by Bell without much of a fight, raising suspicions that team orders were at play. Wallace's actions inadvertently enabled Bell's advancement, but the maneuver was seemingly intended to affect the competitive balance in ways that would ultimately benefit the Chevrolet camp. Ahead of Bell, William Byron's Chevrolet was locked in position, with two other Chevrolet cars, piloted by Ross Chastain of Trackhouse Racing and Austin Dillon of RCR, closely following. Notably, neither Chastain nor Dillon appeared to challenge Byron, effectively protecting his position and maximizing his chances of securing the final playoff spot. Their reluctance to overtake Byron drew immediate criticism, as fans and analysts suspected a coordinated effort to ensure Chevrolet's representation in the Championship 4. A move that NASCAR promptly reviewed after the race. After reviewing the race data, video footage, and radio communications, NASCAR took swift action, slapping 2311 Racing, Trackhouse Racing, and RCR with hefty fines of $200,000 each. The charges of race manipulation allege that these teams acted to influence the outcome in a way that's antithetical to NASCAR's competitive ethos. By imposing these fines, NASCAR signaled its commitment to fairness and competition, setting a precedent that team collaboration to influence results would not be tolerated, particularly with playoff implications on the line. In addition to the fines, NASCAR also suspended the crew chief, spotter, and team executive of all three teams. While defending NASCAR's decision to fine the teams and suspend the crew members, he said, "In this case, we felt we wanted to focus more on the team leadership, something that we haven't done in the past," Sawyer said. "But I promise you that does not exclude going forward. We have meetings coming up this week with our drivers, and we will get that point across to them and be very clear that when you do anything that's going to compromise the integrity of our sport, we're going to react." The penalties have left these teams facing serious reputational damage, with fans questioning the integrity of their strategies and racing ethos. 2311 Racing, a team co-owned by Denny Hamlin and NBA icon Michael Jordan, was especially impacted given its association with Toyota and the JGR umbrella. Many viewed their actions as particularly contentious, given that Toyota was seeking representation in the Championship 4. Trackhouse Racing and RCR, meanwhile, are now under the spotlight for allegedly supporting Chevrolet's agenda to place Byron in the finals, which could erode fan trust in their commitment to a competitive, all-out racing spirit. This controversy surrounding Martinsville further complicates the narrative heading into the Championship 4. With Byron advancing over Bell, the outcome is seen by many as potentially tainted, with suspicions that team dynamics and strategic decisions outside the spirit of pure racing impacted the playoff field. For Chevrolet, having Byron in the Championship 4 represents an opportunity to compete for the title. However, the manner in which his spot was secured now overshadows what should be a celebration of success. NASCAR's decision to fine these teams is likely to spark internal reviews, with teams reconsidering their race day tactics. For fans, this incident underscores the need for transparency and a commitment to fair play, especially when it comes to the playoff structure. NASCAR may also face increased pressure to enforce stricter guidelines on team conduct, as repeated incidents could damage the sport's reputation for fierce, competitive racing. The Martinsville controversy has highlighted NASCAR's challenges in managing team relationships and manufacturer loyalties. The issue of cooperation among teams tied to the same manufacturer, such as Chevrolet's apparent support for Byron, remains a complex problem for the sport. While racing as a team is part of NASCAR's culture, the line between teamwork and race manipulation has become dangerously thin. By penalizing 2311 Racing, Trackhouse Racing, and RCR, NASCAR is making a clear statement that the Championship 4 should be earned purely on competitive merit. As the season finale approaches, all eyes will be on NASCAR to see how it continues to enforce fair play and uphold the sport's values, ensuring that the title is won through unbridled competition rather than orchestrated finishes. This move might also be a turning point, urging teams to carefully weigh their actions on the track, knowing that NASCAR is watching and prepared to act in defense of the sport's integrity. When asked about the alleged race manipulation by 23XI Racing, the team's co-owner Denny Hamlin said, "The only thing I can tell you for a fact, because I'm part of, Toyota Racing never, not once this week, told 23XI to do anything for JGR. They were not involved whatsoever. I don't think I've ever been a part of a conversation saying if this happens, then you have to do this. They've never said that. They've never said that, even on super speedways. They've left it up to the teams. You guys figure this out, right? We're going to provide you what we provide you, but we hope you work together. But that's it. There's never been any rules that Toyota had let out to say, this is what we want you to do." Denny Hamlin's statement following the semifinal race at Martinsville sheds light on the level of autonomy Toyota teams, including his own 23XI Racing, have when it comes to on-track decisions and their approach to competition. In the quote, Hamlin emphasizes that Toyota Racing does not impose team orders or dictate strategies to manipulate race outcomes, even in critical moments where multiple Toyota-affiliated teams could potentially work together to influence playoff standings. Hamlin insists that Toyota Racing has never instructed 23XI Racing to assist Joe Gibbs Racing or any other Toyota team in a race. By saying never, not once this week told 23XI to do anything for JGR, Hamlin dismisses any notion that Toyota orchestrated team maneuvers to secure playoff spots or favor certain drivers. This statement implies that Toyota, as a manufacturer, avoids getting directly involved in strategies that would compromise the competition. Instead, Hamlin clarifies that Toyota's role is to provide resources and support, leaving tactical decisions up to the individual teams. He also highlights Toyota's approach during high-stakes races, including super speedways, where team cooperation is common. While manufacturers might encourage teams to collaborate, especially on tracks where drafting or drafting partners are advantageous, Hamlin asserts that Toyota has never mandated cooperation in these scenarios. According to him, Toyota's philosophy is to let the teams decide independently, respecting each team's strategy and discretion. Hamlin's words underline a key point. Toyota prefers to maintain a hands-off approach, allowing teams to chart their own paths in the competitive landscape. In his view, this autonomy is not only a reflection of Toyota's commitment to fair play, but also of its confidence in its team's integrity. Hamlin's clarification serves to address concerns from fans and critics who may suspect that manufacturers actively intervene in race outcomes, especially when playoff spots are at stake. For Toyota, this stance also aligns with fostering healthy competition within its network, letting JGR, 23XI Racing, and other Toyota teams operate independently, even if cooperation might lead to a favorable outcome. Hamlin's comments highlight a divide in NASCAR about the degree of manufacturer influence in races, particularly regarding team orders. In contrast to Hamlin's description of Toyota's approach, Chevrolet has sometimes seen more visible cooperation between its teams, as seen in the Martinsville race where Chevrolet drivers were perceived to be protecting William Byron's position. Hamlin's statement underscores a point of pride in Toyota's model of racing autonomy, suggesting that manufacturers don't have to compromise the sport's competitive spirit to support their drivers effectively. Ultimately, Hamlin's remarks stand as a defense of Toyota's integrity and its own team's commitment to independent competition. By emphasizing Toyota's hands-off approach, Hamlin seeks to reassure fans and competitors that the sport remains pure, even as NASCAR's competitive landscape evolves and strategic alliances between teams and manufacturers play increasingly complex roles. In the wake of the Martinsville controversy, NASCAR's decision to penalize 23XI Racing, Trackhouse Racing, and RCR reinforces a strong stance on upholding integrity and fair play. The penalties and suspensions signal that the sport will not tolerate actions that compromise pure competition, especially with playoff spots at stake. As NASCAR enters its Championship 4 finale, the industry faces a crucial turning point in balancing team cooperation with genuine competition. Moving forward, fans and teams alike will closely watch to see if NASCAR can maintain this commitment, ensuring a fair and undiluted battle for the title.